I'm glad to have you here. Follow my story until the end and comment the city you're watching from because what I'm about to tell you changed everything I thought I knew about family. My son called 3 days before Christmas. His voice had that smooth, practiced quality he used with vendors he was about to fire. Mom, about Christmas this year. Thomas said it's really more of a professional networking event, high-stakes clients. You'd probably be more comfortable at home. I stood in my kitchen in Edina, Minnesota, phone pressed to my ear. The calendar on the wall showed December 22nd. 3 days until their perfect party. 3 days until I'd spend Christmas alone for the second year in a row. I see, I said. That's all. Just 2 words. Because at 59, I'd learned that arguing only made it worse. I knew you'd understand. Relief flooded his voice. We'll do something in January. Just us. Family dinner. He hung up before I could respond. No, I love you. No Merry Christmas. Just a dial tone in the hollow echo of his excuse. I looked around my kitchen. 23 drawings covered my refrigerator held up with magnets shaped like Minnesota landmarks. Crayon portraits from my granddaughter Abigail. Stick figures labeled me plus grandma. Hearts in pink and purple. A Christmas tree with presents underneath. She'd drawn them all in secret. I knew because they arrived in the mail with no return address. 9 years old, and she already knew her parents wouldn't approve of her loving me. The house was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that settles into your bones when you realize you've become invisible to the people who should see you most. But here's what Thomas didn't know. What none of them knew. I wasn't just some retired scientist they could ignore. I wasn't obsolete. And I wasn't going to stay silent much longer. 4 years earlier October, the doctor's words hung in the air like smoke. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I'm sorry, Mrs. Morrison. We'll make him comfortable. Michael sat beside me in the oncologist's office, his hand wrapped around mine. His grip was still strong. He'd always had strong hands, carpenter's hands, even though he'd spent 40 years as an accountant. How long, he asked. 3 to 6 months, maybe less. Michael died on a Tuesday morning in early October. The leaves outside our bedroom window had just started to turn gold and red against a pale blue sky. Beautiful. Like the world hadn't noticed it was losing one of the good ones. He squeezed my hand one last time, looked at me with those gray eyes that had seen me through 37 years of marriage. You'll be fine, Liz, he whispered. You're stronger than you think. Then he closed his eyes and left me. The funeral was everything Michael would have hated. Too many flowers. Too many people saying things that didn't matter. Thomas wore his expensive suit, the one he'd bought when he made VP at Hartwell Diagnostics. Rebecca flew in from Minneapolis with her husband and 5-year-old Abigail. Abigail stood beside me at the graveside. Her small hand gripped mine so tightly I could feel her pulse. When they lowered the casket, she looked up at me with Michael's eyes. Grandma. Where did Grandpa go? I knelt down, brushed a curl from her face. He's in the stars now, sweetheart. He'll watch over us from there. Will he be cold? My throat closed. I couldn't answer, just pulled her close and held on. Before Michael died, Sunday dinners were sacred. Thomas would bring his business ideas, spreading papers across our dining table, while Michael carved the pot roast. Listen to this strategy, Dad. It's going to transform Hartwell's market position. Rebecca would call from Minneapolis, her voice on speakerphone, while Michael stirred gravy. Can you believe what happened at the PTA meeting? Mom, tell her she's overreacting. Abigail would sprawl on the kitchen floor with crayons drawing elaborate scenes of dinosaurs and princesses. Grandpa, look, it's you and me fighting a T-Rex. Michael would glance at me over the stove, that small smile playing at his lips. The one that said, this is what matters. I'd be in my home office working on algorithms for Hartwell. Michael would bring me coffee around 3, lean against the door frame. Another breakthrough. Dr. Morrison getting closer. I'd say they don't appreciate you enough at that company. They appreciate my work, do they? He'd set the coffee down, kiss the top of my head. Because from where I'm standing, you're the smartest person in that building by a mile. I'd worked at Hartwell Diagnostics for 32 years. Started as a junior researcher fresh out of grad school. Built their diagnostic imaging department from nothing. When Thomas joined the company 15 years ago, I was proud. Thought we'd build something together. Michael used to say, "Watch out, Liz. Corporate politics doesn't care about family. I should have listened." The first 6 months after Michael died, the kids called often. Grief pulls people together, even briefly. Thomas would check in on Sundays. "How are you doing, Mom? Need anything?" Rebecca visited twice that first month. Brought casseroles I wouldn't eat. Sat in the living room making awkward small talk while Abigail colored at my feet. But grief has a shelf life. At least theirs did. By month 7, Thomas's calls got shorter. "Hey, Mom, just checking in. I'm slammed at work. We'll talk soon." By month 9, Rebecca's visit stopped. "Really busy, Dad, rain check." The rain check never came. The changes at work were subtle at first. I'd be explaining a diagnostic protocol in a meeting and Thomas would interrupt. "That's good background, Mom, but let me bring this to the modern context." Like I was teaching history instead of cutting-edge AI research. Or he'd send emails about strategy without copying me. When I asked, he'd say, "Just operational stuff. Didn't want to clutter your inbox." Clutter my inbox at the company I'd helped build. The real shift happened at a board meeting in December, 1 year after Michael died. I was presenting my research on neural network applications in medical imaging. 30 slides, 15 years of work. The board members listened, politely asked intelligent questions. Then Thomas stood up. "Mom's expertise is valuable," he said. "But we need to think about scalability, fresh perspectives, younger talent that understands where the market's heading. Younger talent." He was 33. I was 58. Apparently that made me obsolete. The board nodded, took notes, started asking Thomas questions they should have been asking me. After the meeting, I cornered him in the hallway. "What was that? What was what?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. "You undermined me in front of the board. I was just providing context, Mom." He checked his watch. "Look, I have another meeting. We'll talk later." We didn't talk later. We stopped talking about anything that mattered at all. The second year was worse. Thanksgiving came and I wasn't invited. I found out from Facebook. Rebecca posted photos of a huge dinner at Thomas's penthouse. The whole family gathered around a table that could seat 20. Thomas carving turkey. His wife Celeste laughing with Rebecca. Abigail in a fancy dress sitting between her parents. I called Thomas. "I didn't realize you were having Thanksgiving dinner," I said, keeping my voice level. Pause. "It was last minute, Mom. Just immediate family." I'm immediate family. You know what I mean. It was small, intimate. The photo showed 20 people minimum. "Maybe next year," he said. Rebecca's birthday was in March. I sent a card called to wish her happy birthday. Got voicemail. Saw the party photos on Instagram 3 days later. Thomas and his family were there. Rebecca's husband's parents were there. I wasn't. When I asked Rebecca about it, she texted back, "Sorry, Mom, last minute thing. You know how it is." I didn't know how it was. I didn't understand how I'd become someone they forgot to invite. The worst part was Abigail. She'd turned 6 the month after Michael died. Now she was 7, then 8. Growing up in photos I saw on social media birthday parties I wasn't invited to. School plays I didn't know about until after they'd happened. I asked Thomas once, "Can I take Abigail for the afternoon? Maybe we could go to the park. She's busy with activities. Mom's soccer piano tutoring. Her schedule's packed. I'm her grandmother. I know, we'll figure something out." We never did. But Abigail found a way. The first drawing arrived in my mailbox on a Tuesday in September. No return address, just my name and address and careful crooked handwriting. Inside was a crayon portrait, 2 stick figures holding hands, labels Grandma and me, a son in the corner with a smiley face. I taped it to my refrigerator and cried for the first time since Michael's funeral. More drawings came one every week or two, sometimes more. Abigail never wrote notes, but she didn't have to. The pictures said everything. Me and Grandma at the park, me and Grandma baking cookies, me and Grandma with hearts all around us. 8 years old, and she was already learning to love in secret. Already learning that caring about me was something she had to hide. By the second Christmas without Michael, I had 23 drawings covering my refrigerator. 23 reminders that I hadn't been completely erased. Not yet. That Christmas, I hosted dinner. Just me cooking Michael's pot roast recipe in a too-quiet house. I burned the roast, forgot the cranberry sauce, served store-bought rolls that tasted like cardboard. But Thomas called around 7, put Abigail on FaceTime. "Merry Christmas, Grandma." Her face filled the screen gap, toothed smile. "New haircut. Merry Christmas, sweetheart. I miss you. I miss you too. I made you a bow." Thomas's hand reached into frame, took the phone. "Okay, sweetie, time for bed. Say goodbye to Grandma." But I wanted to show her. Abigail bed now. The screen went black. I sat alone in my kitchen staring at the burned roast, the empty chairs, the Christmas lights I'd strung up for no one. That's when I realized I wasn't just being forgotten. I was being erased, slowly, methodically, one missed invitation at a time, and I had no idea how to stop it. The breakthrough came at 2 in the morning. I'd been working on the algorithm for months, years, really, if you counted all the foundational research. But that night, everything clicked into place. My home office was lit only by my computer screen and the desk lamp Michael had given me 20 years ago. Coffee had gone cold hours before. My back ached from sitting too long, but I couldn't stop. I was so close. The algorithm was designed to analyze medical imaging using artificial intelligence. Not just to read scans, but to predict diseases before symptoms appeared. To catch the doctors the things that killed people before anyone knew what to look for. Things like pancreatic cancer, the kind that took Michael before we even knew he was sick. I typed the final lines of code, ran the test, watched the results populate across my screen. It worked. Not just worked. It was exceptional. Better than I'd hoped. This algorithm could save thousands of lives, maybe hundreds of thousands. I sat back in my chair. Michael's photo watched from the corner of my desk. Forever 47, forever smiling. "This is it," I whispered. "This is what you believed I could do." For the first time in 2 years, I felt something other than grief. I felt purpose. I reached for my phone, called Thomas. It was late, but this couldn't wait. "Mom." His voice was groggy. "It's 2 in the morning. I know, but I've had a breakthrough. A real one." Pause. His voice sharpened. "Tell me more." "It's an AI algorithm for analyzing diagnostic imaging. It can predict diseases before they're symptomatic. Thomas, this could revolutionize early detection. How far along is it?" "Complete tested. It works." Long pause. I could hear him breathing. Could almost hear his mind working. "This could save the company," he said finally. "Hartwell's been struggling. Investors are nervous, but something like this. Mom, this could change everything." I should have heard the hunger in his voice. Should have recognized that tone, but I was tired, excited, and still desperate for my son to see me as valuable. I want to validate it first, I said. Run it past some colleagues. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Of course, but Mom, when you're ready, this could be huge for Hartwell, for all of us. I know, I'm proud of you. Those 4 words. I hadn't heard them in so long. They hit like warm water after years of cold. Thank you, I whispered. After we hung up, I sat in the dark staring at my screen. Something nagged at the back of my mind. Something Michael used to say. Document everything, Liz. The world isn't always fair to women in tech. He'd seen things during our marriage. Colleagues taking credit for my work, men dismissing my ideas in meetings, then presenting them as their own later. He'd seen me passed over for promotions given to less qualified men. Protect yourself, he'd say, even from people you trust. I looked at Michael's photo, especially from people you trust, I asked. His smile didn't answer, but something in my gut twisted. I opened a new document, started typing everything, every line of code, every test result, every piece of research that led to this moment, just in case. The next morning, I called Dr. Catherine Whitmore. We'd crossed paths at conferences over the years. Her work on neural networks at the University of Minnesota was brilliant, meticulous. She had a reputation for being tough, but fair. We met at a coffee shop near campus on a gray March afternoon. I brought my laptop, showed her the framework. She studied my code for 10 minutes without speaking. The coffee shop buzzed around us. Students cramming for exams, professors grading papers, normal life, while my entire world balanced on Catherine's assessment. Finally, she sat back, stirred her coffee, met my eyes. Elizabeth, this is exceptional, career-defining work. Relief flooded through me. Thank you. I wanted outside validation before, but I need you to hear something. Her voice went serious. File the patent before you tell anyone else. Before you bring it to Hartwell, before you tell your family. I blinked. My family, especially. Your family. She leaned forward. I've seen this before. Brilliant work claimed by people who contributed nothing. Intellectual property disputes destroy relationships faster than infidelity. Thomas is my son. He wouldn't. I'm not saying he would. I'm saying protect yourself regardless. She pulled out her phone, scrolled through contacts. I know an IP lawyer in Minneapolis specializes in tech patents. Call him today. That seems extreme. Catherine's expression softened. I had a colleague, once brilliant researcher. She shared her work with her research partner. They'd worked together for 15 years, trusted each other completely. She paused, sipped her coffee. He filed the patent in his name-claimed sole authorship. By the time she found out it was too late, he got the recognition, the funding, the tenure. She got nothing. That's awful. It's reality. Catherine wrote a name and number on a napkin. David Grayson, tell him I sent you. File first share later in that order. I took the napkin, folded it carefully, put it in my purse. People change when money is involved, Catherine said. Or maybe they just show you who they've been all along. David Grayson's office was downtown Minneapolis, all glass and steel. A young receptionist with a professional smile led me to a conference room with a view of the city. David was maybe 45. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. He shook my hand firmly. Dr. Whitmore spoke highly of you, he said. Show me what you've got. I walked him through the algorithm, the research, the testing. He took notes, asked questions that showed he understood not just the legal implications, but the technical complexity. After an hour, he closed his notepad. This is solid work, Dr. Morrison. Exceptional, actually. We'll file a comprehensive patent application. Every line of code documented and time-stamped. If anyone tries to claim they developed something similar, we'll have a paper trail even the best lawyers can't break. How long does it take? Filing is immediate. Full approval can take a year or more, but what matters is the filing date. That establishes priority. I nodded slowly. I feel strange doing this without telling my son. He works at Hartwell. This technology would benefit the company, and it will after you own it legally. David leaned back. Dr. Morrison, I've seen too many inventors lose their work because they trusted the wrong people. File now, share later. You can still work with Hartwell. You'll just do it from a position of protection. Protect yourself, Michael had said, even from people you trust. Okay, I said. Let's file. We spent the next 3 hours documenting everything, every algorithm, every test, every line of code. David's assistant took photos of my notebooks, copied my files to secure servers. We'll file tomorrow, David said as I was leaving. You'll have the paperwork by end of week. I drove home in rush hour traffic, hands tight on the wheel. The sun was setting over Minneapolis, painting the sky orange and pink. Beautiful, like the world was celebrating my decision. But guilt sat heavy in my stomach. This was my son, Thomas, the boy who used to bring me his science projects, who'd been so proud when I started at Hartwell. Was I really worried he'd steal my work? My phone buzzed. Text from Thomas. Hey, Mom, been thinking about your algorithm. Would love to hear more. Dinner this week. I stared at the message. He hadn't asked me to dinner in 6 months, hadn't asked to hear about my work in over a year. Now suddenly he was interested. I texted back. Sure, Thursday. Perfect. 7 p.m. That Italian place you like. I put my phone down. Watch the road. Tried to ignore the voice in my head that sounded like Michael. Protect yourself, Liz. Document everything. The patent was filed. Every line of code, every algorithm, every breakthrough time-stamped and legally mine. I didn't tell Thomas, didn't mention it at dinner on Thursday when he asked about the algorithm. I just explained the framework, the general concepts, how neural networks could be trained on imaging data. Not the specifics, not the code, not the pieces that made it revolutionary. This is incredible, Mom, Thomas said, leaning forward over his fettuccine. This could save Hartwell. Really save it. I'd like to validate it more first. Make sure it's ready. Of course, of course. But when you were ready, he smiled. The same smile he'd had as a kid when he wanted something. We could do this together. Mother and son. Build something amazing. I wanted to believe him. God. I wanted to believe him. But something in his eyes didn't match his smile. Something hungry. Something that made my gut twist. We'll see. I said that night I sat in my office staring at the patent certificate David had sent over. Official legal binding, March 15th, 2022. The day I protected my life's work from my own son. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt like I just acknowledged that the family Michael and I built had already fallen apart. And the worst part, I had no idea how bad it was about to get. The weeks after filing the patent felt strange, like I was living 2 lives. In one life, I was Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, pioneer AI researcher woman, with a patent that could change medicine forever, protected, legally secure. In the other life, I was just Mom, the woman Thomas called when he needed something. The grandmother who got crayon drawings in the mail from a child she wasn't allowed to see Thomas called on a Tuesday afternoon. I was in my garden trying to resurrect the flower beds Michael used to maintain. Everything had grown wild since he died. Weeds choking out the roses, grass overtaking the stone paths. Mom, I need a favor. I stood up, brushed dirt from my knees. What kind of favor? Hartwell's in a tough spot. We need innovation to get investors excited again. Your diagnostic work. Could you consult on strategy? Help us pitch the vision. Something in his voice. Eagerness, the kind that made successful salespeople and dangerous gamblers. Consult? How? Just come to some meetings. Explain the potential of AI and diagnostics. You wouldn't have to share the actual algorithm, just the concepts, the framework. I looked at Michael's roses struggling under the weight of weeds. When this week, Thursday, I'll send you the details. After he hung up, I stood in the garden for a long time. The April sun was warm on my face. Birds sang in the oak tree Michael had planted when Thomas was born. This could be good, I thought. This could be us rebuilding, or it could be something else entirely. I called David Grayson. I'm considering consulting for Hartwell, I said. Will that affect my patent? As long as you don't disclose the proprietary code or algorithm, you're fine. Keep it conceptual. And Dr. Morrison, yes. Document everything. Every meeting, every conversation, every email. You think that's necessary, I think it's smart. Hartwell Diagnostics. Headquarters sat on the outskirts of Rochester, Minnesota. Glass and steel, trying to look innovative. I'd helped design the research wing. My name was on a plaque by the entrance. Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, founding researcher imaging division. Thomas met me in the lobby. Professional handshake, the kind he gave vendors. Thanks for coming, Mom. This means a lot. He led me to a conference room. 5 people sat around the table. I recognized 2 from the board. The others were younger, sharper consultants, probably the kind brought in to fix dying companies. Everyone, this is Dr. Elizabeth Morrison. Thomas said she's been with Hartwell since the beginning. 32 years of diagnostic imaging research, and she's my mother, which makes this even more special. The others smiled politely. One woman, maybe 30, looked at me with barely concealed pity, like I was someone's grandmother playing scientist. Dr. Morrison has been working on AI applications for medical imaging, Thomas continued. Revolutionary stuff. I asked her to share some insights on where the field is heading. He gestured to the screen. My turn. I spent 40 minutes outlining the potential, how neural networks could be trained to recognize patterns humans missed, how early detection could save lives, how AI wasn't replacing doctors but empowering them. I didn't mention my algorithm didn't share the code, just painted the vision in broad strokes. The consultants took notes, enthusiastically asked intelligent questions. One, a man named James with expensive glasses, kept saying, paradigm shift and market disruption. Thomas beamed proud son with his brilliant mother. After the meeting, he walked me to my car. That was perfect, Mom. Exactly what we needed, happy to help. Would you be willing to come to more meetings? Maybe help draft some strategy documents? I unlocked my car. I can do that. Great. I'll send you an NDA, just standard stuff. Protects what we're building. NDA non-disclosure agreement. Why do I need an NDA? Everyone who consults needs one. Just paperwork. Nothing to worry about. He hugged me. Quick professional. I drove home with a knot in my stomach. I couldn't explain. That night, I read the NDA. Thomas emailed 8 pages of legal language. It basically said I wouldn't disclose any proprietary information I learned while consulting for Hartwell. I forwarded it to David Grayson. He called me 20 minutes later. This NDA pertains to their existing proprietary information. It doesn't extend to your independent work. Your patent predates this by a month. You're safe to sign. You're sure positive. But Elizabeth, keep your work separate. Don't mention your algorithm. Don't let them see your code. Consult on strategy only. I understand. Do you? His voice went serious, because the best time to steal intellectual property is when the person doesn't realize they're giving it away. I signed the NDA because I wanted to trust Thomas, because I wanted to believe we were building something together, because even after everything, he was still my son. May through July, the collaboration. The next 3 months felt good, almost like old times. Thomas called regularly, not just about work, about life, about Abigail. She'd gotten the lead in her school play. She'd started taking art classes. She's really talented, Mom. You should see her drawings. I do see them, I thought. Every week in my mailbox, but I just said I'd love to visit sometime, maybe take her to lunch. Yeah, definitely. Once things calm down at work, we'll set something up. The meetings at Hartwell continued. I outlined frameworks for training AI models, explained data structures, discussed regulatory challenges for medical technology, always careful, always keeping my actual private. But I didn't realize how much Thomas was learning, how he could take my frameworks and extrapolate the rest, how a smart person could reverse engineer the puzzle when you've already showed them most of the pieces. June 28th, the investor pitch. Thomas invited me to an investor presentation. Minneapolis downtown, fancy conference room with a view of the Mississippi River. Just sit in back, Mom. I want them to see we have deep technical expertise. 20 investors filled the room, leather chairs, mahogany table men in expensive suits, a few women also expensively dressed. This was serious money. Thomas stood at the front, polished, confident. He'd always been good at presentations. Hartwell Diagnostics is pioneering the integration of artificial intelligence into our diagnostic platforms. He said, clicking through slides I'd never seen. My slides, my frameworks, my concepts presented as Hartwell's innovation. We're positioned to revolutionize early disease detection. Our AI can predict conditions before they're symptomatic. Cancer, heart disease, neurological disorders. We catch them when they're treatable. One investor, an older man with silver hair, glanced back at me. And you are Thomas, answered before I could. That's my mother, Dr. Elizabeth Morrison. She founded Hartwell's research division. She's been helping with some of the technical groundwork. Helping with groundwork like I was his assistant. The presentation continued, 40 minutes of Thomas explaining my vision, my research, my breakthroughs. Every word polished, every slide professional. Not one mentioned that the work was mine. When it ended, the investors applauded, asked questions about Timeline's FDA approval market potential. Thomas answered smoothly, mentioned our team and our research and our vision. I sat in the back row, hands folded in my lap, feeling something cold settle into my chest. After the meeting, investors mingled, networking, business cards exchanged. Thomas worked the room like a politician. One woman approached me. 50s intelligent eyes designer suit. Dr. Morrison, I'm Sarah Chen. I have a PhD in bioengineering. That presentation was fascinating. Thank you. Your son is very talented. Yes. But I recognize foundational neural network architecture when I see it. That's 20 years of research, not 2 years of development. I looked at her. She looked back. Understanding passed between us. You might want to check your patent filings, she said quietly. Then she walked away. Thomas drove me home, excited, energized. That went great, didn't it? Sarah Chen's firm is huge. If we get our investment, we're set. Thomas, yeah, those slides. That was my research. What? And he glanced at me back to the road. Mom, that was Hartwell's research. We've been working on this for months. You consulted, sure. But the company developed the framework. I developed the framework 2 years ago before you even knew AI existed. You're being dramatic. I'm being accurate. His jaw tightened. We're doing this together, Mom. I'm not trying to cut you out, but Hartwell needs investment. If investors think we're a Motherson science project, they'll never take us seriously. So you erase me. I'm not erasing you. I'm positioning the company for success. He pulled into my driveway, put the car in park. Look, I know you feel overlooked, but you have to trust me. This is for all of us. The company succeeds, we all succeed. Unless the company succeeds with my work and I get nothing. He stared at me. Is that what you think I'm doing? Stealing from you? I don't know what you're doing, Thomas. I'm trying to save the company Dad helped you build. I'm trying to make something you can be proud of. His voice rose. But if you don't trust me, if you think I'm some kind of con artist, then maybe you shouldn't consult for us anymore. The cold in my chest spread. Maybe I shouldn't. I got out of the car, walked to my front door, didn't look back. Thomas drove away, fast, angry. I went inside, closed the door, and stood in my empty house. Then I went to my office, pulled up the file where I documented everything, added today's date, described the presentation, the slides, Thomas's words helping with technical groundwork. I thought about what Sarah Chen had said. Check your patent filings. My patent was filed March 15th, safe, protected. But what if Thomas filed his own patent claiming the work as Hartwell's? Would it matter that mine came first? I called David Grayson, left a voicemail. David, it's Elizabeth Morrison. I need to talk to you about protecting my patent. Soon. Then I sat in Michael's chair in the dark and wondered how everything had gone so wrong so fast. Outside stars were coming out. Michael was up there somewhere watching, knowing he'd been right to tell me to protect myself. But protection felt cold, felt like giving up on the family we'd built together. The question was, had Thomas given up first, or was I imagining threats where there were none? I wanted to believe I was paranoid. I wanted to be wrong, but in my gut, that cold feeling spread. Something was very, very wrong, and I was running out of time to figure out what. David Grayson called me back the next morning. Elizabeth. I looked into similar patent filings. There's nothing matching your work. Yet. The key word is yet. If Thomas tries to file, he'll be blocked. Your patent has priority. But he paused. I want you to do something. What start recording your meetings with him? Minnesota is a one-party consent state. You don't need his permission to record conversations you're part of. That feels wrong. So does someone stealing your life's work? His voice was firm. Documentation isn't paranoia, Elizabeth. It's protection. I thought about Michael, how he'd always said the same thing. Okay, I said, I'll do it. I didn't hear from Thomas for 2 weeks after our argument. No calls, no texts, nothing. Then on a Thursday in late July, my phone rang. Mom, his voice was careful, controlled. I think we need to talk. Clear the air. I think so too. How about Saturday, come over for lunch? Celeste is making her famous lasagna. Abigail keeps asking about you. Abigail. My heart clenched. What time? Noon. And Mom, let's not fight. Let's just be family. Saturday, July 23rd. Thomas's penthouse overlooked downtown Minneapolis. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Modern furniture that looked expensive and uncomfortable. Art on the walls that probably cost more than my car. Celeste answered the door. Blonde, polished, the kind of woman who made yoga pants look formal. Elizabeth, so good to see you. Air kissed near my cheek. Come in, come in. The apartment smelled like garlic and tomato sauce. Somewhere I heard Abigail laughing. Then she appeared running down the hallway in a purple dress, hair and braids. Grandma. She launched herself at me. I caught her, held her tight. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and sunshine. I missed you, sweetheart. I missed you too. I have so much to show you. I learned to play Twinkle on the piano and I got an A on my science project, and I made you something, Abigail. Celeste's voice sharp. Let Grandma breathe. Go wash your hands for lunch. Abigail's smile faltered, but she nodded, squeezed my hand once more and ran off. Lunch was tense despite the lasagna. Thomas talked about work-safe topics, investor meetings, market projections. Celeste discussed Abigail's school, her piano lessons, the new tennis coach. Nobody mentioned the investor presentation. Nobody mentioned my research. After lunch, Celeste took Abigail to her room for quiet time, which meant I wasn't allowed to spend time with my granddaughter without supervision. Thomas led me to his home office, closed the door. Look, Mom, about the presentation. I could have handled it better. You could have. But you have to understand, investors need confidence. They need to believe Hartwell has a unified vision, a strong team. If I tell them it's all based on one person's research, your research, they get nervous. What happens if you leave? If you get sick? If something changes? So you pretend the work is yours, not mine. Ours. The company's. He leaned against his desk. Mom, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to build something. Something Dad would be proud of. Don't use your father. He'd want this. He'd want the company to succeed. He'd want us working together. I looked at my son, 34 years old, wearing a polo shirt that probably cost $300, living in a penthouse I couldn't afford. Are we working together, Thomas, or are you working and I'm just there? That's not fair. None of this is fair. I stood. I'm going to say goodbye to Abigail. Mom, I'm not fighting with you. I'm just done pretending everything is fine. Abigail's room was pink and white stuffed animals everywhere, a desk covered in art supplies. She sat on her bed holding a large piece of construction paper. Grandma, look. She held it up. I made this for you. It was us. Stick figures holding hands. A house, a garden, a sun with a smiley face. At the bottom, in careful letters, I love you, Grandma. From Abigail, my throat closed. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Can you put it on your refrigerator with the others? You know about the others. She nodded. I put them in the mail when Mom's not looking. Dad helps sometimes. Thomas helped, so he knew. All this time, he knew Abigail was sending me drawings in secret. I'll put it in the best spot, I promised. Abigail. Celeste appeared in the doorway. Time to let Grandma go, but I just got to see her now, please. I hugged Abigail, whispered, I love you so much. She held on tight. Why don't you come over more? Before I could answer, Celeste stepped between us. Come on, sweetie. Grandma has things to do. Thomas walked me to the elevator. Didn't say anything until the doors opened. She misses you, he said quietly. Then let me see her. It's complicated. It's not complicated. You're making it complicated. The elevator arrived. I stepped in. Mom, wait. About the algorithm. I really do think we could do something amazing together if you just trust me. The doors closed. On the way down, I stood alone in the mirrored elevator, looked at my reflection. 59 years old gray in my hairlines around my eyes. When had I become someone my own son couldn't trust with his truth? Or more accurately, when had he become someone I couldn't trust with mine? After that lunch, things got worse. Meetings at Hartwell happened without me. Thomas would say, just operational stuff, Mom. Budget reviews, HR matters, but I'd see the notes later. Strategy sessions, technology roadmaps, everything I should have been part of. Rebecca called in August. Rare enough that I answered immediately. Hey, Mom, how are you? Fine. You good, good. Listen, I'm having a little get-together for my birthday. Just family. Can you make it? Hope fluttered. Of course. When September 10th, 6:00 casual, I'll be there. But September 10th came. I drove to Rebecca's house in Minneapolis. Nice neighborhood. Her husband made good money as an architect. I rang the doorbell, waited. Rebecca answered, eyes wide. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Behind her, I could see people. Thomas, Celeste, Abigail, Rebecca's husband's parents. At least 15 people. "Your birthday party. You invited me. That's next weekend, Mom." She wouldn't meet my eyes. "This week is just, my husband's family." "I thought you said family." "I meant his family, our intimate circle." I looked past her, saw Thomas see me, saw him look away. "I see," I said. "I'm sorry. Honestly, I thought I said next weekend. Total miscommunication." "Right. Miscommunication." I walked back to my car. Didn't cry until I was on the highway. Even then, it was just a few tears. I was getting good at swallowing grief. There was no party next weekend. I knew there wouldn't be. The call came from a number I didn't recognize. "Doctor Morrison, this is William Porter. I'm a venture capitalist with Northland Investments. I'm not looking for investment, Mr. Porter. I'm not selling. I'm warning." He paused. "Your son approached us 3 months ago. Pitched an AI diagnostic algorithm as Hartwell's proprietary technology." My blood went cold. When exactly that June 15th, right after Memorial Day, 2 weeks after I'd filed my patent, 3 months after Thomas had learned about my work. Did he say where the technology came from? He claimed Hartwell developed it in-house. A team effort. Revolutionary AI framework for medical imaging. William's voice hardened. "But I did my homework, Dr. Morrison. I found your patent filing. March 15th. The framework in Thomas's pitch matches your patent almost exactly. Why are you telling me this? Because I don't do business with liars. And because my mother is a researcher. I know what it's like when men take credit for women's work." He paused. "I'm emailing you the pitch deck." You should see what he's been saying. The email arrived 2 minutes later. 23 slides. Professional graphics. Hartwell logo on every page. Revolutionary AI framework for predictive diagnostics. Proprietary technology developed by Hartwell Diagnostics. Led by Thomas Morrison, VP of Innovation. Every slide detailed my work, my algorithms, my research, my breakthrough presented as if Thomas had invented it. I sat at my kitchen table and read it 3 times. Each time the betrayal cut deeper. My son hadn't just taken credit. He'd tried to sell my work for profit to multiple investors. While pretending we were building something together, I called Catherine Whitmore. She came over that night, read through the pitch deck, didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, Elizabeth. "I'm sorry. I filed the patent. I'm protected legally. Yes, but that's not what I'm sorry about." She closed the laptop. "I'm sorry your son did this. I'm sorry you can't trust your own family. I'm sorry that speaking up means destroying relationships. What should I do? What do you want to do?" I thought about Abigail's drawings on my refrigerator, about Thomas's lies about Michael's voice. "Protect yourself, Liz. I want justice," I said, "but I don't want to hurt innocent people. Sometimes justice hurts everyone, including the person seeking it." Catherine squeezed my hand. "But silence protects abusers, even when they're your children." I met with 2 of my former colleagues, Colin Reed and Lauren Hayes. Both had left Hartwell years ago, frustrated by corporate politics. We met at a coffee shop in Stillwater's small town far from Minneapolis. Less chance of running into anyone from Hartwell. "I want to start a new company," I told them. "Neural diagnostics built on my patent clean slate, no politics." Colin leaned forward. "I'm in." Lauren nodded. "Me too." When we file for IPO in October. Target launch January 1st, midnight. "Why midnight?" Colin asked. because I want a very specific launch date. I pulled out my phone, showed them Thomas's last text, the one from September, family dinner for Christmas, just the three of us. I'd replied I'd love that. He'd never followed up, never set a date, just another empty promise. I'm launching at midnight on Christmas, I said while Thomas has his networking party. Lauren smiled, slow and sharp. Poetic. A woman named Jennifer Hayes from Forbes reached out in mid-November. Dr. Morrison, I heard through some sources that you're launching a new diagnostic company. I'd love to do a story. Someone had tipped her off. Probably William Porter, maybe Catherine. What kind of story is the kind that matters? Women in STEM intellectual property theft, family betrayal, the truth. I met her at the same Stillwater coffee shop, brought everything. Patent filings, Thomas's pitch deck, William's corroboration recordings from meetings, emails 2 years of documentation. Jennifer took notes for 3 hours, finally looked up. This is massive national coverage. Massive. I need you to embargo it until when midnight Christmas Day. She studied me. You're sure once this goes public, there's no taking it back? My son already took everything. I'm just taking back the truth. What about Hartwell employees? This story breaks the company tanks. People lose jobs. I know. The guilt sat heavy. But if I stay silent, Thomas keeps doing this. To me, to others. Silence enables abuse. Jennifer closed her notebook. I'll embargo until Christmas, but Elizabeth, this will change your life. It already changed. I'm just deciding how. The text came December 3rd. From Rebecca, Christmas is immediate family only this year. Hope you understand. I stared at my phone. Read it 5 times, typed back. I am immediate family. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. You know what I mean? Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Like I was someone they'd get around to eventually after the important people. I looked at the calendar. 22 days until Christmas. Last year I'd hosted Burn the Ham, forgot the cranberry sauce, served store-bought rolls. But Abigail had loved it. Made me a construction paper star covered in glitter. This year, I wasn't invited. I walked to my refrigerator, looked at Abigail's 23 drawings, 23 reminders that I hadn't been completely erased. Not yet, but they were trying. December 20th, 10 days before Jennifer's article would publish. 10 days until Neural Diagnostics IPO would go live. 10 days until I destroyed my relationship with my children permanently. I almost stopped, almost called Jennifer and said, don't publish. But then Thomas posted on social media a photo. Him, Rebecca Celeste, and Abigail at some fancy holiday party. Everyone in formal wear, champagne glasses, string lights, caption, grateful to celebrate with the people who make it all possible. Abigail wore a red velvet dress. She looked older, taller. I hadn't seen her in person since July 5th months, almost half a year. I studied the photo, zoomed in on Abigail's face. She wasn't smiling. Not really. Her eyes looked sad. Or maybe I was just seeing what I wanted to see. Thomas called. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Hey, Mom. Quick thing. What is it? Christmas Eve is a client event this year. Big investors. We need everyone polished and professional. You'd probably be more comfortable at home. I know you already made that clear. Silence. It's not personal, Mom. It's entirely personal, Thomas. Look, we'll do something in January. Family dinner. Just us. Sure. I mean it. I'm sure you do. I looked out my window. Snow falling. Beautiful Minnesota winter. Have a good party, Thomas. Mom. I hung up. Then I opened my laptop. Sent an email to Jennifer Hayes. Subject green light. Body publish it. 2 words. That's all it took to detonate my family. I hovered over send for 5 minutes. Thought about Abigail, about Michael, about 32 years at Hartwell, about being erased one dinner invitation at a time. Thought about Thomas selling my work to investors, about the lies, about the betrayal. I clicked send. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I cooked dinner for one. Simple pasta salad, glass of wine. Michael's photo sat on the mantel forever, smiling forever. 47. I don't know if this is right, I told him, but I'm done being invisible. The clock showed 7:15 p.m. Thomas's party had started. Somewhere in downtown Minneapolis, they were celebrating networking building futures I wasn't part of. My phone rang at 9. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello, Grandma," whispered scared. "It's me, Abigail. I miss you." Her voice cracked. "I wanted to call to say Merry Christmas. I miss you too, sweetheart, so much. I made you a big drawing, the biggest one. It's you and me at the park with the ducks. Mom said I couldn't send it, but I'm going to anyway. I'm going to hide it in my backpack and mail it when she's not looking. I can't wait to see it. Background noise, music, voices, someone calling her name. I have to go," she whispered fast. "Mom's looking for me. I love you, Grandma. I love you, baby." The line went dead. I sat holding the phone, tears running down my face. 9 years old, and she was already learning that loving me was something to hide. 11:45 p.m. I sat at my kitchen table, laptop, open Forbes article queued. Neural Diagnostics IPO ready to go live at 12:01. 15 minutes until my life changed forever. I thought about calling it off. One email to Jennifer, one click to stop everything. But then I thought about Thomas's pitch deck about being uninvited to my own granddaughter's life, about 2 years of lies and eraser and betrayal, about the 23 drawings on my refrigerator, about Abigail whispering on the phone because loving her grandmother was forbidden. 11:58. I stood by the window, snow falling silent night, holy night. The town was quiet, lights and neighbor windows, Christmas trees glowing, normal families doing normal things. Tomorrow my family would hate me. But tonight, for these last 2 minutes, I was still just Mom, still just Grandma, still someone they might love if they remembered how. 12 Yazeru midnight Christmas Day. My phone lit up, notifications flooding in. The Forbes article was live. Tech pioneer accuses son of stealing patented AI framework. Patents, emails, recordings. William Porter's testimony. Catherine's corroboration. Everything documented, everything proven the truth. Finally told. Neural Diagnostics IPO 2.7 billion valuation. I sat down, watched my phone explode with messages, support, hate interview requests, legal threats. The world was waking up to my story, and my family was about to wake up to their nightmare. 12:07 a.m. Thomas called. I answered, "Mom." His voice was raw, panicked, broken. "What the hell did you do?" in the background music? Voices, chaos, his party, collapsing in real time. "I told the truth, Thomas. You destroyed us on Christmas in front of everyone. The truth destroyed you, not me. Ask yourself why. We're family. Family doesn't steal, Thomas. Family doesn't erase. I gave you chances. I tried to include you. You tried to take what was mine and pretend it was yours." Shouting in the background. Someone crying. Then Rebecca's voice grabbing the phone. "Mom, we're going to sue you for defamation. You've destroyed us. David Grayson reviewed everything. You don't have a case. You're a bitter, selfish woman." Rebecca's voice broke. "You couldn't stand to see us succeed. I couldn't stand to be erased from my own life." The line went dead. I sat in the dark. Phone glowing in my hand. It was done. The truth was out, and there was no taking it back. My children hated me. My granddaughter would grow up hearing how I destroyed the family. Hartwell would collapse. Innocent people would lose jobs. But the alternative was silence, was letting Thomas steal and lie and erase, was teaching Abigail that being quiet was safer than being honest. Outside Christmas morning, snow kept falling. Inside, I sat alone with my decision. Right or wrong, it was made, and I would have to live with every consequence. By 1 hour in the morning, my phone showed 53 missed calls. I sat in the dark living room, phone face up on the coffee table, watching notifications light up the screen like fireworks. Each buzz felt like a small explosion. Thomas, 17 calls. Rebecca, 12 calls. Unknown numbers, 24 calls. The Forbes article had been live for 1 hour, already shared 50,000 times. The hashtag diagnostic justice was trending nationwide. Number 3 on Twitter, rising. I picked up my phone, scrolled through the notifications without opening them. Voicemails piling up. Text messages flooding in. Email after email after email. Support messages. You're a hero. Thank you for your courage. This is what bravery looks like. Hate messages. Family destroyer. Bitter old woman. Hope your revenge was worth it. Media requests. NBC wants an exclusive interview. Good Morning America would love to have you on. 60 Minutes is interested in your story. I turned the phone off, set it down, stared at the dark screen. The house was completely silent. No music, no television, just the hum of the refrigerator and the sound of my own breathing. This was it. The moment I'd been planning for months. The truth was out. Justice was served. The algorithm was protected. My work was credited. So why did I feel like I just detonated a bomb in my own life? I walked to the kitchen, made tea I wouldn't drink, stood at the window watching snowfall in the streetlight. Beautiful, peaceful, like the world hadn't just watched me destroy my family on Christmas morning. Michael's photo sat on the mantel in the living room. I could see it from here forever, smiling forever, 47 forever, believing I was stronger than I thought. I hope you're right, I whispered to him, because I don't feel strong. I feel like I just made the biggest mistake of my life. The tea went cold in my hands. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in Michael's chair watching darkness turn to gray, turn to dawn. Christmas morning, the day everything changed. Catherine arrived at 7 with coffee and bagels. I heard her car in the driveway, heard her footsteps on the porch, didn't get up to answer the door. She let herself in with the spare key I'd given her months ago. Elizabeth, her voice. Gentle, careful kitchen. She found me still in Michael's chair, still wearing yesterday's clothes, hair uncombed, eyes dry from not sleeping. She didn't say anything, just set the coffee and bagels on the table, sat down across from me, waited. I did it, I finally said. I know. The articles everywhere. I know. People are calling me a hero. People are calling me a monster. I know. I looked at her. Catherine Whitmore, brilliant researcher, tough as nails, the woman who'd warned me to protect myself, who told me silence enables abusers. Was I wrong? I asked. She took a long time to answer, sipped her coffee, looked out the window at the snow. You did the right thing, she said finally. That's not what I asked. I know, she met my eyes. You did the necessary thing. Sometimes they're the same. Sometimes they're not. That's not reassuring. I'm not here to reassure you, Elizabeth. I'm here to sit with you while you live with your decision. We sat in silence for a while, drank coffee, didn't touch the bagels. Finally, Catherine said, Thomas held a press conference last night. Did you see it? No. You should watch it. Why? Because he's falling apart and you need to see what your truth did to him. She pulled out her phone, opened YouTube, found the video. Thomas appeared on screen, press conference room. Bright lights, cameras. His face looked haggarded, eyes red and swollen, tie crooked, hair uncombed. I'd never seen him look so undone. A reporter's voice. Mr. Morrison, Dr. Morrison filed her patent in March 2022. You approached investors in June 2023. Can you explain the discrepancy? Thomas's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Thea, the research was collaborative family development, shared intellectual property between mother and son. Did you have Dr. Morrison's permission to pitch her patented technology? We were working together on, that's not what I asked Mr. Morrison. Did you have explicit permission? Thomas froze, looked at someone off camera, then back at the reporters. He stopped, started again. I believed we had an understanding, a legal understanding, a written agreement. It's more complicated than Mr. Morrison. Did you knowingly misrepresent your mother's patented work as Hartwell Diagnostics' proprietary technology, yes or no? The silence stretched. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15. Then Thomas stood up. No further questions. He walked off stage. The camera followed him, caught him pushing through a side door. Someone Celeste probably reaching for him. The video ended. I sat staring at Catherine's phone. That clip has 5 million views, Catherine said quietly. And it's been less than 12 hours. He looked destroyed. Yes. Good. I said, then immediately felt sick. I don't mean good. I don't know what I mean. Catherine took her phone back. You can feel 2 things at once, Elizabeth. Relief that the truth is out and grief that telling it hurt people you love. 240 people work at Hartwell. Good people, people with families. I know when this hits the market Monday morning when investors pull out when the stock crashes. I couldn't finish the sentence. That's not your fault, isn't it? I pulled the trigger. Thomas loaded the gun. He aimed it. He just didn't expect it to fire back at him. Catherine leaned forward. Elizabeth, listen to me. You didn't destroy Hartwell. Thomas did when he stole your work. You just documented it. If the company can't survive truth, then it deserves to fail. Tell that to the lab technicians losing their jobs. Tell that to the receptionist with 3 kids. Tell that to everyone who had nothing to do with Thomas's lies. Catherine didn't have an answer for that because there wasn't one. From Jake Morrison at Hartwell Diagnostics. Calm subject, please read. I almost didn't open it. Another journalist, probably another interview request, but something about the subject line. Simple, desperate. I clicked. Dr. Morrison, you don't know me. My name is Jake Morrison, no relation to your family. I'm a researcher in Hartwell's imaging division. I've worked here for 6 years. I'm 28 years old. My wife, Sarah, is 7 months pregnant with our second child. Our daughter, Emma, just turned 3. I'm not writing to blame you. I know what your son did was wrong. I know you had every right to protect your work. I understand why you went public, but I need you to know something. This morning, I came into work at 6:00 a.m., found an email from HR. Half our lab is being laid off. Effective immediately budget cuts. Investor confidence collapsed. The company is hemorrhaging money. I still have my job for now, but I'm terrified. We have a mortgage, $2,400 a month. Medical bills from Sarah's last pregnancy, $8,000. We're still paying off. Emma starts preschool next fall, $600 a month. The new baby will need daycare, another $1,200 a month. Sarah can't work right now. Doctor's orders. High-risk pregnancy. She's on bed rest. If I lose this job, we lose everything. I know this isn't your fault. I know you didn't ask for any of this. I know Thomas Morrison brought this on himself, but I need you to know that real people are suffering. Good people. People who just came to work every day did their jobs trusted that the company would be there. My colleague, Amy, she's a single mom with 2 kids. Gone. Tyler, his dad has cancer. He was helping pay for treatment. Gone. Maria, she just bought a house 6 months ago. Gone. 12 people from my lab. 12 families gone by lunchtime today. I'm not asking for anything. I don't even know what I'd ask for. I just needed to tell someone. Needed someone to know that the collateral damage from this truth is real. We're not numbers. We're not statistics. We're people. I hope your algorithm saves lives. I really do. I hope all of this meant something. But right now, it just feels like everything is falling apart. Jake Morrison, Senior Researcher, Imaging Division, Hartwell Diagnostics. I read the email 7 times. Each time the words cut deeper. Real people are suffering. We're not numbers. Everything is falling apart. I stood up, paced the kitchen, sat back down, read it again. Catherine had left an hour ago. The house was empty. Just me and Jake Morrison's words. 28 years old. Pregnant wife on bed rest. 3-year-old daughter. Medical bills. Mortgage. The weight of a family dependent on a job that was hanging by a thread because I'd told the truth. I'd known this would happen, had prepared for it, told myself that protecting my work mattered more than protecting Thomas's lies. But knowing intellectually and feeling the crushing weight of it were completely different things. Jake Morrison wasn't abstract. He wasn't theoretical. He was real, and his suffering was real, and it was happening because of choices I'd made. My hands shook as I typed my response. Jake, thank you for your honesty and for your courage in writing to me. You're right. This isn't your fault. And you're right that it's not entirely mine either. But I understand why it feels that way. I understand that distinguishing between who loaded the gun and who fired it doesn't help when you're the one caught in the crossfire. I can't undo what's happened. I can't bring back the jobs that were lost today. I can't erase the fear you're feeling right now, but I can try to help where I can. Neural Diagnostics is hiring. We're building an imaging research division, and we need experienced researchers. I'm attaching the contact information for Colin Reed. He's heading the division. Tell him I sent you. That doesn't guarantee anything, but it's a start. If that doesn't work out, I'll personally write you a recommendation letter for anywhere, anytime, no questions asked. I wish I could tell you that everything will be fine, that the pain will be worth it, that justice always feels good, but I can't. Because right now, I'm sitting in my kitchen at 7 a.m. on December 26th, reading your email and feeling the weight of every decision I made. Sorry doesn't pay your mortgage. It doesn't feed your family. It doesn't erase fear. But I am sorry, truly deeply sorry that you and your colleagues are paying the price for something you had no control over. Thank you for reminding me that truth has casualties. I needed that reminder, Elizabeth Morrison. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Stared at the screen for a long time after the email disappeared. Then I put my head down on the kitchen table and cried. Thomas held another press conference. I didn't want to watch, but I couldn't stop myself. The video was already trending. #1 on YouTube, 8 million views and climbing. Thomas looked even worse than yesterday. Same clothes, hadn't showered, eyes hollow. I have a short statement, he said. His voice was hoarse-sorrow. Then I'm not taking questions. The room went silent. Yesterday, Forbes published an article about me, about my mother, Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, about intellectual property theft. He paused, took a breath. Everything in that article is true. Gasps from the press pool. In March 2022, my mother completed a revolutionary AI algorithm for diagnostic imaging. She filed a patent, protected her work legally. She told me about her breakthrough, asked for my advice on next steps. Another pause. I saw an opportunity not to collaborate, to take. I convinced her to consult for Hartwell to share her frameworks and concepts. She trusted me. She thought we were building something together. His voice cracked. But I was building something for myself. I took her frameworks, reverse-engineered her approach, created pitch decks presenting her work as Hartwell's proprietary technology. I approached investors, told them we had revolutionary AI capability, never mentioned that it was my mother's work, never mentioned that she owned the patent. Someone in the audience said, Jesus. When she confronted me, I threatened legal action. Told her that everything she worked on while consulting belonged to Hartwell. Tried to intimidate her into giving me her algorithm. Thomas looked directly at the camera. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Those words are inadequate, meaningless, but they're all I have. He turned back to the reporters. I am resigning from all positions at Hartwell Diagnostics. Effective, immediately, permanent. I will not fight this. I will not appeal. I will not try to salvage my career here. Mr. Morrison, a reporter, started. No questions. But I will say this to every employee who lost their job because of my actions. I'm sorry. You deserved better leadership. To every investor who trusted me, I'm sorry. You deserved honesty. To my family, I'm sorry. You deserved integrity. He looked at the camera again. And to everyone watching, this is what happens when you put ambition ahead of ethics, when you put career ahead of family, when you convince yourself that the ends justify the means they don't. I destroyed my mother's trust, my company's reputation, my own career, and for what? To pretend I was smarter than I am, to steal credit for work I didn't do. His voice broke completely. To everyone I hurt, I'm sorry. To my mother especially, I understand if you never forgive me. I wouldn't forgive me either. He walked off stage. The video ended. I sat staring at my laptop screen for 20 minutes. Then I opened my email, typed a message to Thomas. Subject, I saw your press conference body. It's a start. Not I forgive you, not I'm proud of you, not even thank you, just it's a start. I hovered over send for 5 minutes, then clicked. Cleveland Clinic's announcement came at 9:00 a.m. Press release distributed to every major news outlet. Cleveland Clinic has terminated its $18 million partnership with Hartwell Diagnostics, effective immediately. This decision follows revelations about leadership ethics and intellectual property mismanagement. Cleveland Clinic maintains its commitment to cutting-edge medical technology, but cannot partner with organizations that demonstrate fundamental ethical failures. By 10:00 a.m., Hartwell stock had dropped 20%. By 11:00 a.m., 31%. By noon, trading was halted. More emails started arriving. Dozens, then hundreds. Former colleagues. Elizabeth I always knew you were the brains behind Hartwell's innovation. Glad you're finally getting credit. What Thomas did is unforgivable. You did the right thing going public. I worked with you for 15 years. This doesn't surprise me at all. He always took credit for other people's work. Current Hartwell employees. Dr. Morrison. I just lost my job. My husband has MS. Our insurance covered his treatments. What happens now, I hope you're happy. 200 families are suffering because you couldn't let your son succeed. You're a hero to some people. To me, you're the reason my daughter might not go to college. Strangers, you're an inspiration. Thank you for standing up for women in STEM. Bitter old woman who destroyed her son out of jealousy. This is what integrity looks like. Thank you for your courage. I read every single one, every word of praise, every word of condemnation. Catherine found me at my kitchen table at 11 p.m. Laptop open, eyes, red face, wet. Elizabeth, you need to stop reading those. I need to know. You need to sleep. How can I sleep? How can I close my eyes when people are losing their homes because of me? Because of Thomas, not you. That's a convenient distinction when you're not the one paying rent with unemployment checks. Catherine closed my laptop firmly. Listen to me. The system was broken. Thomas was lying, stealing, misrepresenting. You didn't break heart. You just stopped pretending it wasn't already broken. That's easy to say when you're not responsible. You're not responsible for Thomas's choices, but I'm responsible for mine. And my choice put 200 people out of work. Your choice protected intellectual property rights, protected women in STEM, protected the integrity of medical research. Yes, it had consequences, but that doesn't make it wrong. I looked at her. Are you sure? No, she admitted. I'm not sure. But I'm sure that staying silent was wrong. And sometimes when all your choices are hard, you pick the one you can live with. Can I live with this? I don't know, Elizabeth. Can you? The email came from William Porter at 8 a.m. Subject, you need to see this attached 47 files. I opened them one by one. Pitch decks, email chains, meeting notes, all from Thomas, all from May through August, all showing him systematically shopping my algorithm to different venture capital firms. Northland Investments, Greystone Capital Summit Ventures, Redwood Partners Beacon, VC, 5 firms, 5 pitches, 5 opportunities to sell my work. Each pitch deck was nearly identical. 23 slides, professional graphics, Hartwell logo on every page. Revolutionary AI framework for predictive diagnostics. Proprietary technology developed by Hartwell Diagnostics, led by Thomas Morrison, VP of Innovation. Every single word was a lie. One email stood out from Thomas to a VC named Richard Sterling at Summit Ventures. Rick, following up on our meeting last week, the AI diagnostic algorithm I presented is ready for commercialization. Full patent protection in place. We're positioned to dominate the early detection market within 3 years. Hartwell just needs the right investment partner to scale. Are you interested? Full patent protection. Technically true because I had filed a patent, but presented as if it was Hartwell's patent, as if Thomas had filed it as if the work was his. Another email to Greystone Capital. The beauty of our AI framework is that it's entirely proprietary. No external dependencies, no licensing requirements. We own it outright. That's the competitive advantage. We own it outright. We, not my mother, developed it, not Dr. Morrison holds the patent. I forwarded the entire folder to David Grayson with one line. How much of this is prosecutable? He called me 30 minutes later, all of it. Jake Morrison emailed me again at 6:15 a.m. Subject update, Dr. Morrison. They fired me this morning. I arrived at 6:00 a.m. for my shift. Security was waiting. They walked me to my desk, watched me pack my personal items, escorted me out. Didn't even let me say goodbye to my team. 15 more people gone today. 27 total from our division. Sarah's crying. Emma keeps asking why Daddy's home. The baby's due in 6 weeks. I sent my resume to Colin Reed like you suggested. Haven't heard back. I know it's only been 2 days, but every day feels like a year right now. I'm not mad at you. I want you to know that. I'm scared and I needed to tell someone. Thank you for listening. Jake, I replied immediately. Jake, I'm calling Colin right now. Calling, not emailing. You'll hear from him by end of day. In the meantime, I'm wiring $10,000 to your account. Don't argue. Don't refuse. Consider it a consulting fee. I need someone with your expertise to review some technical documentation for neural diagnostics. 1 hour of your time. $10,000. Deal. Give me your bank account details. I'll have it transferred by noon. You're not alone and you will get through this. Elizabeth, I called Colin at 7 a.m. We're hiring Jake Morrison, I said. No preamble, no small talk. Elizabeth, we've got 20 applications for every I don't care, we're hiring him today. Make it happen. Is he qualified 6 years at Hartwell Senior Researcher Imaging Division? And Colin, he's got a pregnant wife and a 3-year-old. He's terrified and he's suffering because I told the truth. Silence. So yes, I continued. He's qualified and we're hiring him. Full salary, full benefits starting January 2nd. Make it happen. Okay? Colin said quietly. I'll make it happen. Thomas's text arrived at 2:47 a.m. Can we talk? I was awake, had been awake for hours, staring at the ceiling in the dark. Please, Mom, just 5 minutes. I looked at my phone, the messages glowing in the darkness. I didn't respond. More messages came over the next days, December 31st. Dad, I know I messed up, but please let me explain. January 1st, I'm losing everything. My job, my reputation. Rebecca won't talk to me. Please, Mom, don't shut me out. January 2nd. Fine, I get it. You made your point. I deserve this. All of it. January 3rd. Celeste took Abigail to her mother's, said she needs space to think. I think she's going to leave me. January 5th. I'm sorry. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm sorry. I read each one. Didn't respond to any of them. My phone rang at 8 a.m. Thomas. I stared at the screen, let it ring 3 times. 4, 5. Then I answered. Mom. His voice was completely wrecked, or like he'd been crying for days. Thank you for answering. I didn't say anything. Just waited. I'm sorry. Silence. I know that's not enough. I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I'm sorry. Why now, I asked. My voice sounded cold, distant, like it belonged to someone else. Because you got caught. Because you lost everything. Because Celeste is leaving you. Yes, he didn't try to deny it. All of those reasons, but also because I finally see what I did to you. What did you do to me, Thomas? Long pause. I could hear him breathing, could almost hear him thinking. I erased you, he said finally. I made you invisible, treated you like you were obsolete, like you didn't matter, like your work was just raw material I could use to build my own success. Keep going. I stole from you, not just your algorithm. I stole your contributions, your recognition, your place in your own granddaughter's life. I made Abigail think loving you was something she had to hide. His voice broke. I destroyed you, Mom, systematically over 2 years. And I told myself I was doing it for the company, for the family. But I was just doing it for myself. Why? Because he started again. Because I was jealous. There I said it. I was jealous of you my entire life. I blinked. Jealous. You're brilliant. Everyone knows it. Dad knew it. Your colleagues knew it. Even I knew it. Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, genius researcher pioneer in diagnostic imaging, the woman who built H. Hartwell from nothing. Thomas, no. Let me finish, please. He took a shaky breath. I spent my whole life being Elizabeth Morrison's son. Not Thomas, not my own person, just your son. And when I finally got to Hartwell, when I finally had a chance to make my own name, I couldn't, because you were always there, always smarter, always better, always the real talent. So you tried to become me. I tried to replace you. Thought if I could take your work, claim it as mine. Then finally, I'd be more than just your son. I'd be somebody. Silence stretched between us. But all I did? Thomas' continued voice, thick with tears, was prove that I'm not you, that I never will be, and that trying to steal your brilliance just made me a thief. I closed my eyes, pressed the phone to my ear. You didn't have to be me, Thomas. You just had to be you. I know that now. I know a lot of things now. Too late. All of it. Too late. What do you want from me? I don't know if I deserve anything from you, but can I try to fix this? Can I try to make it right? How I already resigned, publicly confessed, but that's not enough. I want to testify. If anyone sues investors, the board, anyone, I want to tell the truth under oath. I want to make sure everyone knows exactly what I did. That'll destroy any chance you have of working in this industry again. I know no company will touch you. I know your career is over. I know. His voice steadied slightly. But at least Abigail will know I tried to do the right thing eventually when she's old enough to understand. At least she'll know I owned my mistakes. I looked out my kitchen window. Snow falling. Another Minnesota winter. Okay, I said. Okay, what? Tell the truth everywhere, every time. Under oath if necessary. We'll see what happens after that. Does this mean it means it's a start, Thomas? Nothing more. I'm not ready to forgive you. I don't know if I ever will be, but I'm willing to see if there's a path forward. Thank you. He was crying openly now. Thank you, Mom. Don't thank me. Just do the work. Real work on yourself. Figure out who you are when you're not trying to be me. I will. I promise. We hung up. I sat in my kitchen for a long time after staring at my cold coffee at the snow outside, at Abigail's drawings on the refrigerator. Michael's photo watched from the mantel. Is this what you wanted? I asked him silently. Is this justice or just more pain? He didn't answer, just smiled his forever smile. The post went live at noon. Every platform, every network, everywhere. I read it on my laptop. Catherine on speakerphone, Colin and Lauren on video chat. My name is Thomas Morrison. I'm writing this because I owe my mother, my family, the employees of Hartwell Diagnostics, and every person affected by my actions, a full, honest accounting of what I did. In March 2022, my mother, Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, completed a revolutionary AI algorithm for medical diagnostic imaging. She spent 20 years developing the foundational research, 2 years specifically building this algorithm. She filed a patent on March 15, 2022, protecting her intellectual property. I knew about the patent. She told me, showed me the filing documents, asked my advice on commercialization strategies. Instead of helping her, I stole from her. Between April and August 2023, I convinced my mother to consult for Hartwell Diagnostics. She believed we were collaborating, building something together, mother and son, family legacy. I was lying. I took her frameworks, her concepts, her revolutionary approach to neural network training. I created pitch decks, approached 5 different venture capital firms, presented her work as Hartwell's proprietary technology. As my innovation, I never told investors that the algorithm belonged to my mother, that she owned the patent, that the work was hers. I committed intellectual property theft against my own mother, the woman who spent 32 years building Hartwell Diagnostics, the woman who raised me, who believed in me, who trusted me. When she confronted me in June, I threatened legal action, told her that everything she worked on while consulting belonged to Hartwell, tried to intimidate her into surrendering her patent. When she refused, I excluded her from family events, made her feel unwelcome, kept her away from her granddaughter, systematically erased her from our lives because she wouldn't let me steal her life's work. Every single action I took was calculated, deliberate, intentional. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was theft eraser abuse. And I did it to my own mother. The consequences of my actions. My mother spent 2 years being excluded from her own family. Mahorty Hartwell employees lost their jobs when the truth came out. Investors lost millions when the company collapsed. My daughter learned that loving her grandmother was something to hide. I destroyed my mother's trust, possibly permanently. I am resigning from all positions at Hartwell Diagnostics. Permanent. No conditions, no negotiations. I am prepared to testify under oath about my actions in any legal proceedings. I am prepared to face whatever consequences, legal, professional, personal, result from my theft. To the Hartwell employees who lost jobs, I'm sorry. This is my fault, not my mother's. She had every right to protect her work. I'm the one who made that necessary. To the investors I lied to, I'm sorry. You trusted me. You deserved honesty. You got fraud. To my wife and daughter, I'm sorry. You deserved better. You deserved a husband and father with integrity. To my mother, I'm sorry. Those words are meaningless after what I did, but they're true. I destroyed something precious, something irreplaceable. Your trust, your place in our family, your joy in your granddaughter. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just want you to know that I finally understand what I took from you, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to be the son you deserve to have. To everyone watching this is what happens when ambition becomes more important than integrity, when success matters more than honesty, when you convince yourself that family means you're entitled to take whatever you want. Learn from my mistakes. Protect your work. Document everything. Don't trust anyone, even family, with intellectual property you haven't legally protected. And if you're in STEM, especially if you're a woman, especially if you're older, your work matters. Your contributions matter. You matter. Don't let anyone make you invisible. My mother spent 2 years being erased. She finally said enough. She was right to do it, and I was wrong about everything. Thomas Morrison, former VP of Innovation, Hartwell Diagnostics. The post went viral immediately, 20 million views in 6 hours. Comments flooded in. This is the most honest public confession I've ever seen. Too little, too late. He destroyed hundreds of lives. At least he's owning it. That takes courage. Courage would have been not stealing in the first place. I'm a 62-year-old female engineer. Thank you, Thomas, for finally seeing what you did. And thank you, Dr. Morrison, for refusing to be erased. I read the post 3 times, then opened my email to thomasmorrisonmail.com subject. I saw your statement, Thomas. It's a start. It's not forgiveness, it's not reconciliation. It's not everything is fine now, but it's a start. Do the work, real work on yourself. Figure out who you are. Be that person. Maybe someday we can rebuild. Maybe not. Time will tell. But this honesty is a start. Mom, I hit send before I could second-guess us myself. 30 seconds later, my phone buzzed. Thank you. That's more than I deserve. I'll do the work, I promise. Can I see Abigail? Bring her to visit you if you're willing. I stared at the message, thought about Abigail, about her drawings, about 2 years of loving me in secret. Yes, call me next week. We'll set a date. William Porter's call came at 9:00 a.m. Dr. Morrison Cleveland Clinic wants to talk about what partnership they terminated with Hartwell, but they still want the technology, your technology. They've been watching neural diagnostics. They're impressed. Set up a meeting. 3 days later, I sat in a conference room with Dr. Pell Robert Patterson, Cleveland Clinic's chief medical officer, and his team. Colin and Lauren flanked me. Dr. Patterson was maybe 60. Gray hair, kind eyes, the look of someone who'd spent 40 years actually caring about patients. Dr. Morrison, he said, shaking my hand, I've been following your work for years, even before this recent situation. Your algorithm is exactly what healthcare needs. Thank you. Early detection saves lives. We know that, but we're not good at it. Doctors are human. We miss things. We overlook signs. We wait until symptoms are obvious, and by then, it's often too late. He pulled up a slide. Statistics. Survival rates for early detection versus latest stage diagnosis. Pancreatic cancer detected at stage 190%, 5-year survival. Detected at stage 43%. My breath caught. Michael's cancer. Stage 4 at diagnosis. Dead 6 months later. Your algorithm detects patterns before symptoms appear, before standard diagnostic protocols would catch anything. It's revolutionary, and we want to be part of it. What kind of partnership? $75 million over 3 years. Clinical trials, FDA approval. Pipeline full implementation. Across our network. 18 hospitals, 220 clinics. Colin whistled softly. If the trials succeed, Dr. Patterson continued, we'll expand to our international partners. We're talking about millions of patients, millions of lives potentially saved. I looked at Michael's photo on my phone's lock screen, forever smiling. This is what you believed I could do, I thought. This is why all of it mattered. We're interested, I said. By end of January, Neural Diagnostics was valued at $3.8 billion. My controlling interest made me technically a billionaire. I didn't feel like a billionaire. I felt tired and sad and relieved and guilty. I felt everything and nothing at once. But the technology would save lives. That was what mattered. Neural Diagnostics hired 50 researchers by March. Jake Morrison was the first. His thank you email arrived the day he started. Dr. Morrison, first day at Neural Diagnostics. Colin gave me the tour. State-of-the-art lab. Incredible team. Real resources to do real work. Sarah had the baby last week, a girl. We named her Elizabeth. Thank you for giving me a second chance. Thank you for caring about more than just your own story. I'll work every day to prove you made the right choice. Jake Morrison, Senior Researcher, Neural Diagnostics. I printed that email, put it in a frame on my desk. In April, I gave the keynote at the Medical Innovation Conference in Chicago. 2,000 people filled the ballroom. Ageism in tech, why experience matters. I talked about 32 years at Hartwell about being dismissed because I was older, female, obsolete, about fighting back, about the cost of truth, about justice that hurts everyone, including the person seeking it. When I finished, they stood. 2,000 people applauding, some crying. The messages came after, you gave me courage to fight for my patent. I'm 67. They told me I'm too old. Your story proved them wrong. Thank you for showing that women in STEM don't expire at 50. Thomas and I met for coffee in April. Still water diner, neutral ground. We talked for 2 hours. It wasn't warm. It wasn't easy, but it was honest. I've started therapy, he said. Twice a week, working through everything. How's that going? Hard. I'm realizing how much of my identity was built on being successful, being important, being more than Elizabeth Morrison's son. He stirred his coffee. My therapist asked me who I am without the job, without the title, without the success. What did you say? I didn't have an answer. I'm still trying to figure it out. We sat in silence for a while. I got a job, he said finally. Startup in Boston software company, entry-level product manager. 28-year-olds are my bosses. I'm starting over completely. How does that feel? Humiliating. Necessary. Probably both. He looked up. But it's honest work. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody cares about my last name. I'm just Thomas guy who writes product specs and sits in too many meetings. That might be good for you. Yeah, maybe. Pause. Abigail asks about you constantly, my heart clenched. What do you tell her that grandma is amazing? That I made terrible mistakes, that we're trying to fix things, but it takes time. He met my eyes. Can she see you soon? She misses you so much, Mom. I miss her too. Next weekend, I could bring her to Adina just for the afternoon. Yes, I said immediately. Yes, bring her, please. Christmas Eve looked different this year. Not empty, not lonely, just different. My house was full of people. Catherine, Colin, Lauren, David Grayson, Jennifer Hayes from Forbes, William Porter, Jake Morrison and his family, Sarah Emma and baby Elizabeth Jack, Kowalski, Michael's oldest friend and his wife. 12 people laughing, cooking, telling stories. At 11:45, we gathered in the living room, raised glasses. To second chances, Colin said to truth, Lauren added. To rebuilding, David offered. Jack looked at me. To finding your people. I looked around the room. These people had stood by me, believed me, supported me when my own children couldn't. To family, I said the one we're born into and the one we choose. We clinked glasses, drank, smiled. At midnight, fireworks exploded in the distance. The new year arriving, new beginnings. My phone buzzed, 12:14 a.m. Email notification from Abigail Morrison, 2016@gmail.com. Subject: Can I call you? My hands shook. I opened it. Hi, Grandma. Dad set up this email for me. He said I can write to you whenever I want now. Can I call you, like video call? Mom said it's okay. Dad said, it's okay. I really want to talk to you. I miss you so much. I made you 20 new drawings. I saved them all. I want to show you. Can I call you right now? Please, I love you, Grandma. Love, Abigail. I looked up. Everyone was watching. It's Abigail, I whispered. She wants to video call. Catherine smiled. Then call her back, Elizabeth. I stepped into Michael's old office, hands trembling. Opened the video app, found Abigail's name pressed, call, the screen connected, and there she was. 10 years old now. Taller hair. Longer, wearing pajamas with stars on them. Michael's eyes looking back at me. Hi, Grandma. I couldn't speak, just looked at her, memorized every detail of her face. Hi, sweetheart. Merry Christmas. She was smiling. That gap-toothed smile I remembered. I'm so happy I get to talk to you. I'm happy too, baby. So happy. Dad said I can call you whenever I want now, and I can come visit, and you can come to my house, and we don't have to hide anymore. We don't have to hide anymore. I repeated, tears streaming down my face. I made you so many drawings. Look. She held up a folder. This one is us at the park. This one is us baking cookies. This one is us at the zoo. This one is Abigail. Sweetie, slow down, I heard Celeste say in the background. Grandma can't see them all at once, but I want to show her everything. I want to see everything. I said, tell me about each one. She talked for 30 minutes about school, about piano, about her new baby cousin Rebecca had a son in September, about learning to ice skate, about everything I'd missed. I listened, smiled, cried quietly. Finally, she yawned. I should go to bed, she said reluctantly. But Grandma, yes, sweetheart. Can I come visit you tomorrow for Christmas? Dad said maybe if you want. I looked at the calendar. Christmas Day. Yes, tomorrow. Please come tomorrow. Yay. I'm going to bring all my drawings and we can bake cookies and you can meet my hamster. His name is Snowball and I can show you my piano songs. Abigail, breathe. I laughed. Yes to all of it. Come whenever you want. I love you, Grandma. I love you so much, Abigail. More than you'll ever know. I know Grandma. I always knew. The call ended. I sat in Michael's chair for a long time, tears drying on my face, but smiling. Catherine appeared in the doorway. You okay? She's coming tomorrow. That's wonderful. I looked at Michael's photo on the desk forever, smiling forever, believing I was stronger than I thought. I did it, I whispered to him. I protected my work. I told the truth. I lost everything and found it again. Different changed, but found. His smile didn't answer, but I didn't need it to. I knew. Abigail at 10. He stood on my porch holding his daughter's hand, looking older, thinner, but steadier somehow. Thank you for this, Mom. I nodded. Still couldn't quite smile at him. The wounds were healing, but they weren't healed. Abigail launched herself at me. I caught her, held her tight, breathed in strawberry shampoo and childhood. I brought everything. She held up a backpack. My drawings, my piano music, pictures of Snowball. Show me all of it, I said. Thomas and Celeste left. We'll pick her up at 3. That's fine. We spent 5 hours together baking cookies, looking at her drawings, listening to her play piano on her tablet, talking about everything. At lunch, she asked, Grandma, why couldn't I see you for so long? I thought about lying, making it simple, but she deserved truth. Because your dad and I had a fight, a big one, about something he did that hurt me, and it took a long time for us to figure out how to talk to each other again. Did you stop loving each other? No, sweetheart. Love doesn't turn off like a switch, but sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes people need time and space and honesty before they can be close again. Are you close again now? We're working on it. It's not easy, but we're trying. She thought about this. I'm glad you're trying. Me too, because I love you both. And it was sad when you weren't talking. I pulled her close. I'm sorry you had to be sad about that. It's okay. You're together now. That's what matters. 10 years old, and she understood forgiveness better than any adult I knew. I'm writing this in February, 14 months after the Forbes article. 14 months after I detonated my family to protect my truth. Neural Diagnostics just finished Phase 2 clinical trials. The algorithm works better than we hoped. Early detection rates up by 43%. Survival rates improving dramatically. We're expanding, partnering with 12 more hospital systems. By 2027, our technology will be in 200 hospitals across North America. The work will save thousands of lives. Michael would be proud. Thomas and I talk once a week, carefully, honestly rebuilding trust, brick by brick. He's still in Boston, still working entry level, still in therapy, still figuring out who he is when he's not trying to be me. Last week he called. I got a promotion team lead, small team, but it's mine. Earned it honestly. I'm glad, Thomas. Thanks, Mom. That means a lot. We're not close, but we're honest. Sometimes that's better. Rebecca and I had lunch last month. She apologized. Really apologized. I saw what Thomas did and I made excuses because it was easier than admitting my brother was wrong. I'm sorry, Mom. Thank you. Can we try to be mother and daughter again? We can try. It's awkward. Careful, but it's something. Abigail visits every other weekend. We bake draw talk about everything. Last week she asked Grandma, was it worth it, everything you went through? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yes, I said finally, because you're worth it. Because truth is worth it. Because I'm worth it. She hugged me. I think you're the bravest person I know. I'm not brave. I'm just a woman who got tired of being invisible. But if my story helps one person stand up for themselves, if it helps one woman in STEM protect her work, if it helps one person choose truth over silence, then every painful moment was worth it. You're not too old. You're not obsolete. Your work matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Don't let anyone make you forget that. Document everything. Protect yourself. Speak up even when it's hard. Even when it costs everything. Even when the people you love become the people you have to fight. Truth has casualties, but silence has more. Choose truth. Choose yourself. Choose courage. You're not alone. None of us are.